The image of Kim Kardashian has always been one of meticulously calculated visibility. For 2 decades, she has commanded the cultural conversation, turning her personal life, her fashion, and her body into the most dominant global brand of the 21st century. She is the architect of her own fame, a pioneer who transformed reality television exposure into tangible billions. But in recent years, a new layer has been added to this complex, layered persona: the aspiring lawyer, the advocate for justice reform. It is a seemingly radical pivot from the glossy pages of Vogue to the solemn halls of justice, from the world of Skims shapewear to the world of statutes and legal arguments. The narrative we are sold is one of inspiring self-reinvention, a non-traditional legal journey driven by a desire to honor her late father's legacy and enact real, meaningful change in the American justice system. This narrative paints her as a relentless underdog fighting for genuine purpose. But we at Starlight Remains are trained to look beyond the carefully constructed press releases and the edited reality TV moments. We see a strategy that is less about altruism and more about acute, desperate self-preservation in the fickle ecosystem of celebrity. The truth is, the market for reality stars fades, but the market for a serious celebrity, one with depth, one with a defined cause, endures. The controversy surrounding Kim Kardashian's journey to the bar exam and her simultaneous shift into lawyer-themed acting roles is not about whether she is smart enough to study law. It is about whether she is serious enough to respect it. This deep dive must ask a far more cynical, yet critical question. Is her pursuit of the law a genuine career path, or is it merely the ultimate luxury accessory, a new, intellectual veneer strategically applied to her brand? Furthermore, when she accepts roles that require the facade of a lawyer, and yet chooses to present her body in the same hypersexualized, attention-demanding manner that built her initial empire, what is the ultimate verdict? Our thesis is clear. Kim Kardashian has not just pursued a legal education. She has weaponized the gravitas of the bar exam for Hollywood's gaze, using justice reform not as an end, but as a sophisticated means to rebrand her core identity. The ensuing controversy, especially the scrutiny on her fashion choices in the courtroom, and her calculated visibility in lawyerly roles, suggests that for Kim Kardashian, the most important piece of evidence is still the body she chooses to put on display, reducing the weighty gravity of the legal profession to another platform for her next, most fashionable statement. This is the calculated commodification of conscience, and the trial is officially open. Every great reinvention begins with a seemingly authentic moment of revelation. And for Kim Kardashian, that moment arrived in 2018 with the story of Alice Marie Johnson. Johnson, a great-grandmother serving a life sentence for a first-time, non-violent drug offense, became the vessel through which Kim Kardashian West, as she was known then, found her new purpose. This was the inception of the unexpected legal ambition, a sudden, powerful pivot from makeup mogul to policy lobbyist. The narrative was perfect. A celebrity using her immense platform not to sell another perfume, but to fight systemic injustice. Kim's early advocacy efforts, particularly her successful lobbying of President Trump for Johnson's clemency, were undeniably impactful and demonstrated a willingness to engage in the tedious, difficult work of justice reform. She met with lawyers, immersed herself in case files, and developed a rapport with political figures. This work provided a crucial and perhaps essential counterbalance to the frivolity that had defined her previous decade of fame. It created what her brand desperately needed: gravity. But this new path was not entirely without precedent in her personal history. The narrative frequently deployed by the Kardashian family is that this legal ambition is a tribute to her late father, Robert Kardashian Sr. Robert Kardashian, famously a key figure in the defense Dream Team during the O.J. Simpson trial, became the heroic legal patriarch, whose legacy Kim was now carrying forward. This connection provided an emotional, almost destiny-driven legitimacy to her choice. However, a closer look at Robert Kardashian's career reveals a more nuanced and perhaps strategically edited truth. While his name is synonymous with the Simpson trial, his law license was in fact inactive for decades prior to the case. And his primary professional identity was that of a successful businessman and entrepreneur. The narrative of Kim following in the footsteps of a dedicated career criminal defense attorney is one that has been carefully curated. The choice to link her work to her father's legal past functions as an emotional anchor, a powerful piece of rhetorical evidence meant to ground her unpredictable shift in something deeply personal and beyond reproach. The suggestion that she wanted to use her power to effect real change, especially as a mother raising Black sons and recognizing the systemic bias in incarceration rates, resonated powerfully and was articulated as her core, deeply personal motivation. Yet, even in these initial, seemingly selfless actions, the shadow of visibility, our central theme, loomed large. The choice to pursue law via California's non-traditional apprenticeship route, reading the law, instantly offered a compelling, media-friendly storyline. It's a route that is only available in a handful of states and is notoriously grueling, requiring a massive commitment of time and a different kind of public struggle. This struggle was not just private dedication, it was immediately translated into reality television currency on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, where viewers were given a front-row seat to her study sessions and her frustrations. The distinction must be made. Genuine interest in reform sparked the initial movement, but the subsequent decision to transform that interest into a highly public legal qualification provided the brand with a rich, 4-year storyline designed to prove that Kim was not just famous, but smart, a crucial next-level achievement in the hierarchy of celebrity status. The decision was twofold: social change and social currency. This strategic fusion of altruism and self-interest is the hallmark of the Kardashian enterprise, turning a noble cause into the next blockbuster arc for the world's most visible woman. Kim Kardashian's legal journey, unlike the majority of her peers, was never confined to the quiet privacy of a lecture hall or a library carrel. It was always, by design, a performance. The choice to pursue the baby bar via the apprenticeship method, a grueling, self-taught path that culminates in the first-year law student's examination, was, in retrospect, a masterstroke of content generation. It allowed her to frame her struggle in real time, inviting the cameras and the public into the exhausting, often demoralizing process of legal education. This was the performance of dedication, a continuous, high-stakes narrative streamed for mass consumption. We watched her grapple with torts and contracts, civil procedure, and criminal law. We witnessed the relief of passing after multiple attempts. These moments, broadcast across her platforms, served a critical dual function. On one hand, they proved her determination, defying the stereotype of the airheaded reality star. On the other, they transformed the arduous, complex rigor of law school into a relatable, albeit dramatic, television arc. The failure and eventual success of the baby bar were not just personal milestones. They were episodic beats, driving engagement and cementing her image as a dedicated, serious intellectual powerhouse who simply chose a different, more challenging route to success. However, the question that perpetually haunted this narrative was one of sincerity versus strategy. How does one reconcile the monastic dedication required to read the law with the relentless, demanding schedule of running a multi-billion-dollar empire? At the same time Kim was memorizing the elements of battery, she was launching new drops for Skims, attending high-profile fashion weeks, and flying across the globe for photo shoots. The performance of dedication sometimes overshadowed the actual work. Critics noted that the moments of genuine study were often meticulously curated for impact. A book opened next to a custom-made Balenciaga outfit, a distressed look while sitting in a lavish, minimalist study. The contrast with the traditional law student experience is stark. For most aspiring lawyers, the commitment is total. Years of sequestered study, financial sacrifice, and a complete deprioritization of public life. For Kim, the law became an additive layer, a new storyline seamlessly integrated into her existing media obligations. This integration was not accidental. It was essential. By keeping the legal journey public, Kim ensured that the conversation surrounding her never stagnated. When the novelty of her shapewear or the spectacle of her relationships began to wane, the lawyer Kim narrative instantly provided renewed depth and focus. This meticulous orchestration of her legal pursuit elevated her far beyond her contemporary reality stars. She wasn't just leveraging her fame, she was intellectualizing it. She was proving that the Kardashian brand could expand beyond the consumption of luxury goods and into the production of social good. But the very performance that proved her dedication also exposed its limits. The process, while challenging, was also a meticulously managed public relations campaign. The law became the ultimate proof of life for a star who needed to convince a skeptical public that her fame was rooted in substance, not just skin. She had successfully merchandised her commitment, turning the arduous path to the bar into another highly sellable, aspirational product: the dedicated, professional celebrity. The dedication was real, but the performance was the price of entry. If the pursuit of the bar was about intellectual gravitas, then the enduring controversy centers on the undeniable fact that Kim Kardashian's primary communication tool remains her physical presentation. This is the heart of the show-off debate, the essential conflict between the austerity of the legal profession and the hyper-sexualized branding that defines the Kardashian image. We enter the body as a barometer, where the fashion choices she makes, particularly in lawyerly or legal-adjacent settings, serve as the ultimate evidence of her priorities. The legal field operates on a rigid, traditional code of professionalism, where attire is not a style statement, but a testament to respect for the proceedings, the client, and the court. It demands a visual neutrality, a removal of the self to focus solely on the facts of the case. Kim Kardashian's brand, by contrast, is built on the exact opposite principle: radical self-focus, maximum visibility, and the aggressive use of her physique as a cultural focal point. When Kim attended various legal meetings, or even highly publicized policy discussions regarding justice reform, her wardrobe choices were often starkly defiant of the customary decorum. She frequently appeared in tight-fitting, monochrome outfits, often pushing the boundaries of what the public, or the legal community, defines as professional. These outfits, while undeniably high fashion, ensured that the conversation centered not just on the crucial justice reform policy being discussed, but equally on the curves encased within the fabric. This constant, deliberate visual disruption is where the argument that she is simply showing off gains traction. If the mission is to be taken seriously as an advocate, why employ the very aesthetic that has traditionally relegated her to the category of frivolous celebrity? The clothing acts as a form of armor, but also as a kind of visual mic drop. It asserts that her power is indivisible. She will bring her billion-dollar, aesthetically driven brand into the courtroom and demand respect on her own terms, which includes the unwavering assertion of her sexuality and physical presence. The controversy is amplified when she steps into acting roles that require a professional veneer, like the recent buzz around her involvement in high-profile television projects. The fear among critics is that these roles, which could theoretically demand a measured, professional wardrobe, will instead be used as another vehicle for high-fashion, high-visibility dressing. The assumption is that the script will take a backseat to the runway, and the lawyer persona will be used as a sophisticated costume to display her body in new, yet equally visible ways. The professional character becomes a mere excuse for the body to be the star. This merging of professional pursuit and provocative visual branding is what distinguishes her legal quest from traditional paths. By refusing to adapt her personal brand aesthetic to the seriousness of the law, Kim Kardashian is subtly sending a message that the celebrity brand is more potent than the professional requirement. Her body, meticulously presented and undeniably visible, becomes the barometer measuring her commitment. And critics argue that in the clash between the professional code and the visibility mandate, The visibility mandate wins every single time. She is not just reading the law, she is making the law conform to her aesthetic, turning the pursuit of justice into a stunning, body-conscious photo opportunity. The natural progression of Kim Kardashian's legal journey was the inevitable crossover into scripted entertainment. Once the performance of dedication was successfully executed via reality television, the logical next step was to consolidate this new image by stepping into roles that actively mimic the very profession she is aspiring to join. This is the Hollywood Law Project, where the line between advocacy and acting completely dissolves, and the core purpose remains the same: sustained visibility. Kim's acceptance of roles in major TV series, such as her widely discussed casting in American Horror Story Delicate, signaled her serious intent to transition into scripted acting. While her role there may not be explicitly a lawyer, the subsequent rumors and reported discussions about her actively seeking lawyer or law-adjacent roles are highly revealing. These roles offer a perfect narrative loop: a celebrity who became a legal advocate, now portraying a powerful legal figure on screen. However, the industry anticipation around these potential legal roles is not centered on her depth of character study or her ability to convincingly deliver dramatic legal dialogue. Instead, the focus remains firmly fixed on the visual aspect: what Kim Kardashian will look like in the role. Critics and fans alike speculate, and often dread, that the lawyer's office will simply become the next setting for an elaborate fashion show. The concern is that her performance will not be defined by the rigorous intellectual demands of the character, but by the meticulous display of high-fashion, body-hugging attire, essentially turning the courtroom drama into a high-octane editorial spread. This approach strips the role of its professional integrity and uses the lawyer title merely as a sophisticated backdrop. When a star's brand is so intrinsically linked to their physique and fashion, the narrative surrounding their body inevitably overshadows the script. A lawyer on screen is supposed to embody competence, measured judgment, and intellectual prowess. Kim Kardashian, in her established persona, embodies aspirational consumption and visual spectacle. By taking on these roles, she risks perpetuating the idea that the professional woman in power is valued not for her expertise, but for her aesthetics. The decision to pursue these roles is a masterclass in brand management. It serves as external validation that her legal advocacy has been successful, turning a real-life struggle into profitable content. It allows her to permanently integrate the lawyer Kim identity into the cultural consciousness, making it a believable, marketable facet of her identity. The acting roles are the final, prestigious bow on the entire legal project. They solidify the idea that she is more than just a famous face. She is now a multi-hyphenate, a woman who can move seamlessly from fashion entrepreneur to legal apprentice to serious actress. But the persistent, recurring criticism is that this is simply the same gaze applied to a new setting. The same visibility demands, the same focus on the body, the same priority given to the external appearance over internal depth. The Hollywood Law Project, therefore, is not a career change. It is the ultimate expression of the brand's adaptability, using the moral and intellectual gravity of the legal fields to secure higher status, more respected roles, all while ensuring that the physical, fashionable self remains the centerpiece of the performance. The bench may change from the court to the soundstage, but the show, centered squarely on Kim's calculated visibility, absolutely goes on. While the public in Hollywood might view Kim Kardashian's legal pivot as an inspiring narrative of dedication, the reaction from the established legal community has been far more reserved, often tinged with outright skepticism and at times what amounts to the legal community's silent scorn. This disdain is rooted in a fundamental clash of values: the traditional profession's veneration of discretion and diligence versus the celebrity's mandate of continuous, overwhelming visibility. For lawyers, judges, and law professors, the law is an exacting, often thankless discipline, built on intellectual honesty, ethical restraint, and an unwavering respect for procedure. When Kim Kardashian turns the path to the bar into reality TV content, and when she uses high-fashion, body-focused aesthetics in legal environments, it is seen by many professionals as a profound trivialization of their field. The concern is that her presence reduces the gravitas of legal practice to a publicity stunt, an easy platform for self-promotion, rather than a solemn commitment to justice. Legal scholars have expressed anxiety over the Kardashian effect on the profession. This effect is the worry that Kim's highly publicized, non-traditional journey will erode the established value placed on formal legal education. It potentially sends the message to young aspirants that dedication to academic rigor is less important than celebrity connection and media exposure. While her advocacy for specific cases, particularly in justice reform, is often praised, the methodology of her public legal training is frequently criticized as undermining the standards of the bar. Furthermore, her branding choices, particularly the emphasis on her physical image and controversial fashion choices in legal settings, spark ethical discomfort. Legal professionals are acutely aware that their appearance must always project credibility and neutrality. When a potential lawyer makes their body and attire the central focus, as is the case with Kim's brand, it raises questions about whether she truly understands the ethical requirements of the profession, where the client's case, not the lawyer's outfit, must dominate attention. It suggests a lack of understanding regarding the necessity of visual deference to the institution itself. The criticism is often subtle, rarely public, but palpable within academic and professional circles. Law journals and bar association blogs may cautiously address the phenomenon, often couching their concerns in the language of professionalism and decorum. They fear that the constant spectacle surrounding her journey will lead the public to view the law through the lens of celebrity and entertainment, rather than as a serious, complex institution vital to societal structure. The underlying concern is not about Kim Kardashian the person, but about Kim Kardashian the brand, and its corrosive impact on the profession's integrity. In essence, the legal community is struggling with the reality that Kim has already proven. In the modern media landscape, visibility trumps veracity, and star power can potentially outweigh intellectual merit in the court of public opinion. They see her legal pursuit less as a noble aspiration and more as a powerful, disruptive force. A cultural force that has skillfully weaponized the prestige of the law to clean up her image, all while refusing to abandon the highly visible, body-focused strategies that built her empire in the first place. The silence from the institutions is not consent. It is the bewildered scorn of a tradition-bound profession grappling with the ultimate celebrity interloper. We have journeyed through the calculated evolution of the Kim Kardashian brand, tracing her path from reality star to justice reform advocate, and now to the aspiring lawyer and lawyer-themed actress. The verdict on visibility is complex, but the evidence is compelling. Kim Kardashian has masterfully utilized the immense moral gravitas of the legal profession as the ultimate rebranding tool. She did not merely change careers, she performed a radical, high-profile upgrade of her entire public identity. This entire saga, the arduous baby bar journey, the focus on prison reform, the exploration of legal acting roles, has served to intellectualize a brand previously criticized for being entirely superficial. She successfully convinced a skeptical world that her ambition extends beyond the commercialization of beauty and fashion. But in doing so, she refused to relinquish the very tools that built her fame. The enduring controversy, highlighted by her persistent body-conscious fashion choices in professional settings, is the visible manifestation of this internal conflict. She weaponized the bar exam, turning a commitment to systemic change into a new Hollywood narrative. The law became a sophisticated extension of her personal marketing, a new accessory arguably more valuable than any Hermes Birkin bag because it purchased the one commodity fame cannot easily buy: respect. The true cost of this strategy, as the legal community silently observes, is the potential degradation of the professional sanctity of the law, where the appearance of dedication is prioritized over its quiet, necessary reality. Kim Kardashian remains an undisputed genius of visibility, perhaps the greatest celebrity strategist of our time. She understands that in the modern arena of fame, the ultimate power lies not just in being seen, but in controlling how and why you are seen. The question that remains is not whether she will eventually pass the bar, which she likely will, but whether she can ever truly decouple her work from her body. Can she successfully trade the gaze of Hollywood for the serious scrutiny of the courtroom? Or will the pursuit of justice always remain secondary to the relentless, profitable pursuit of her own image? We want to know what you, the jury of Starlight Remains, think. Is Kim Kardashian a sincere advocate who is unfairly judged by her fashion choices? Or is her legal journey the ultimate, calculated performance, designed to keep her at the apex of the global conversation? Drop your comments below. Tell us your verdict on Kim Kardashian's strategic shift. Do you believe her motives are genuine, or is this the most brilliant piece of public relations the world of celebrity has ever witnessed? Like this video, subscribe to Starlight Remains for more deep dives into the hidden truths of celebrity culture, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next expose.